Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the Arise to Success show, where we aim to highlight inspiring individuals and their journeys to success. I'm your host in this show. My name is Jihad. Our guest today is Jamila Taylor, who is a mindset, energetics, and expansion mentor, helping women live financially abundant lives with delicious joy and freedom. She has mentored hundreds of clients on voice activation, creating content in 5 minutes or less, energetics on energetics of money and feminine energy to magnetize your desires to you. Jamila will be sharing with us today how she started her business from suffering with social anxiety to now having a successful, thriving business, how she creates ease in her business, infuse energetics, and being seen especially as an iqabi. Jamila, thank you so much for being with us here today and welcome to the Arise to Success show. How are you doing?
Walaikum salam. It's amazing to be here. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing really, really well, and I'm excited. I'm excited to share my journey, share some nuggets of wisdom with your audience.
Jazakallah khair, and I'm looking forward to hearing those as well. I have forgotten actually to let the dear listeners know that this show today is pre-recorded, so we won't be able to take any questions. But please feel free to text or WhatsApp your thoughts about the show at 07779481822. Alternatively, you can also comment on Facebook. So, Jamila, I'm really looking forward to learning more about the work that you do. So, if you can please perhaps start by telling us a little bit more about yourself and what is a mindset, energetics, and expansion mentor?
Hmm. Okay, so I actually started out really heavily focusing on mindset.
Mm,
For first of all, it was really supporting Muslim women with anxiety, and then I transitioned more towards entrepreneurs, and then I brought in loads of other things into my coaching. And the reason for that was that mindset is like the foundational block to
mm,
success.
mm,
It is the thing that is the bread and butter. It's the glue that creates the momentum for your success.
yeah.
If your mindset is not on point, anything that you do, any action that you take, any external thing that you do won't really work. Or you'll find
Yes.
yourself struggling or forcing or hustling hard to try and make it work and try and fit in like puzzle pieces to make it work.
Mm,
So that's the mindset part that I focus on. Now, as I went deeper into mindset, I realized there's actually another layer, and that's your energetics. This is your energy. And this
mm,
is deeper than just the mental level, the mind level. This
mm,
is your aura. This is your energy. This is how you are, your nervous system is creating relationships with other people's nervous systems and what you're giving out, the
mm,
energy that you're emitting. And we've all seen that there's some people that have this magnetic, alluring energy where
mm,
everybody wants to flock around them, everybody wants to be with them, everybody wants to hear what they're saying, and they're amazing to be around. And there's some people that have a kind of repelling energy or a
mm,
kind of crazy energy or a chasing energy. So energetics is a huge part of my work as well.
mm,
And by expansion, I mean like we go beyond where we currently create limits for ourselves.
mm,
Like Allah has created us on this planet to grow.
mm,
And part of our beingness on this planet is to expand our human capabilities to the most that we can, to achieve as much as we can, to have as much of as we desire on this planet as we prepare for the next.
mm,
So that is what I mean by expansion, like going beyond where
mm.
you are settling in your comfort zone, where you are in your settling zone and breaking through glass ceilings, really going beyond what you feel like you can currently achieve.
I love it, mashallah. And it feels like combining all those three together, the mindset, the energy, the expansion, I'm just thinking, wow, somebody can just go so far, mashallah, right?
Mm, yeah, definitely. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that it's the
Mm,
foundational block for any other action that you decide to take.
mm. That's lovely. And I've never seen anybody doing such work, mashallah. So that's quite interesting. And when you talked about the energy, I'm just wondering here, is it something that people can work on in themselves to kind of, and is that something that you do in terms of helping them to have that kind of energy that's compelling, that's kind of like, how do I describe it? That provides, as you said, that provides that either that energy, that, that positive energy, basically.
Yeah, 100%. That is exactly what I do in the work that I do with my clients. And for each person, they want to work on energetics of different things. So some of my clients, they work on the energetics of attracting clients and attracting larger amounts of money. For other clients, it's more about like, how do I get into that magnetic energy so that I can have the most delicious relationship that I can have. So for every client, it's something really different.
That's really interesting. I've never heard of that word before, so that's really interesting, mashallah. And is it like a set of sessions that you do with the clients to get them to achieve their outcomes, or is it just one-off session?
So I'm actually phasing out my one-off sessions in 2023. So in 2024, it will just be my long-term one-on-one rose quartz packages that I work with one-on-one on a one-on-one basis with clients, and my programs. So one of my signature programs is the Empowered Woman program. And that is literally taking you step by step through, first of all, clearing anything that's in your energy, anything that's in your lineage around not being seen, around unworthiness, around lack and scarcity. And then we are layering on these foundational blocks so that you have this strong, resilient mindset and the powerful energetics of attracting money, attracting your desires effortlessly to you.
Wow, love it. It's very interesting work, mashallah. I'm wondering, where did you start that business and what motivated you to starting it?
So I've been doing this for about 3 years now. And subhanAllah, the thing that really motivated me to start it was me overcoming certain issues I had within myself. So like, when you introduced me, you talked about the social anxiety I had. That was a big thing for me, because I realized that I went from a confident person to suddenly developing this social anxiety and not being able to like even leave the room, and feeling like I had to hide, like I had to not be seen, not be heard, and like want to kind of blend into the wall of the background behind me. When I overcame that, I had more desires, and I started to see more and more of the things that I really desired started happening for me. Like, alhamdulillah, like luxury 5-star Maldives overwater villa trips, moving into my own apartment. All of these things started to happen for me so beautifully, so easily. And it was almost like a natural next progressional moment that when I was thinking to Allah, okay, what's next for me now? What's my next stage in my journey? It came in my heart that I want to support women with the same. I want to help women do the same thing for themselves.
Amazing, mashallah. What was that transition where you said that you kind of gone through a phase where you kind of lost your confidence and then you picked yourself up again? Tell us more about that transition.
Yeah, so it was a really difficult time, because on the external, it kind of looked like maybe she still has a little bit of confidence, but I knew inside I didn't. And it was kind of like crippling anxiety. And I felt like sometimes I was just counting the days. I was just counting the hours where you could just go back to sleep, where you don't have to feel the feelings of this anxiety crippling you. And alhamdulillah, I actually got over it through so much self-love work, through so much self-reflection work, through deep presence work. And that's the work I've helped so many women overcome anxiety. Like, some women came to me and they said, I've had this for 9 years now, and one session with me made them let go of it. And that's the thing that helped me. So I knew that this is the work, even though it might be sometimes a bit uncomfortable for some people. When you do that, it's like you're opening multiple doors for the next route that you want to take in your life. You're no longer being held down by this one thing that was crippling you in the past, and so many avenues, so many doors, so many opportunities can then start opening up for you.
Oh, subhanAllah. So perhaps if you can tell us a bit more about what has helped you to overcome this and to deal with that anxiety, because I'm sure a lot of listeners will be listening there and thinking, well, I'm going or I've gone through something similar. So if you're happy to share what has helped you, so that inshallah can help others as well.
Yeah. And anxiety really stems from having a very overactive mind. And sometimes it can feel very unconscious. Like, you don't realize that there's actually either worrying too much about the past or worrying too much about the future. And when you're in either one of these places where you're thinking about past events so much, or what that person said to you, what happened 5 years ago, or you're worrying about the future of what if this happens, what if that happens, what if this ends up like this, you're finding it very, very difficult to actually be in the present moment. And for your nervous system, when you try to go into the present moment, on the surface, it feels very scary. It feels like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God, this is too much for me to bear. Because your body and your nervous system has been so acclimatized to constant worry, to thinking about the past, about the future, even if this is like at a level that you are not even aware that you are doing this and it's just running in the background, just like, radio waves in the background running, we don't see them. Sometimes your mind is doing that and you're not really aware of it. So for me, the thing that really, really supported me was having a massive like kind of dopamine detox and being so present with myself, coming into the present moment. And through that stillness, also being with different parts of my body. So it came with like a huge somatic awareness practice that I started off with. And when women normally start doing this, they feel even more anxious because anxiety is literally like a part of yourself trying to run away from something, trying to run away from a situation, and you're trying to actually run away from yourself also. So when you're yourself to actually just be with yourself, be in stillness and not need to escape, not need to run away, and be with certain parts of your body, it's like you kind of feel this mind-body connection again. And you'll realize you're giving your ego and your mind the opportunity to see, oh, I'm not dying. Nothing bad is happening to me. And you can slowly titrate your way to letting go of that anxiety.
Interesting. And so I'm just writing this down so I don't forget. So the part where you said that for a lot of women, when they're having to focus on the moment, focus on that stillness, focus on the present, it can be quite scary focusing on, their being themselves. As you said, that can be a trigger of anxiety itself. What do they need to do? Is it something that they still continue doing it and continue practicing it so that they can come out of this and then stay more focused in the present? Or what can help them if they're finding it quite scary to do that?
So I think the first time is having somebody with you to hold space for you, because that is another thing when it comes to anxiety, that if you don't have a support system externally first with outside of you, and then you start creating internal support systems within yourself, it can be really hard to hold yourself through a process, because there's going to be that part of you that's going to want to run away. It's going to be that part of you that's going to want to say, this is too much, let me just not listen, let me just switch off this thing that I'm listening to, let me just not do this. So having that first. But it's almost like a kind of roller coaster kind of feeling, where as you're doing the practice, it kind of feels intense, and then it drops again. And you start to feel the difference. You start to feel, wow, the heart palpitations you had start to get less. The mind chatter has quietened. You realize that you're okay, that you genuinely are fully okay in this moment. But when you've tasted that, when you've really felt that, and you've felt this kind of feeling of peace and stillness inside of you, it becomes easier for you to come back to that later on, because you've tasted it once.
But you recommend to start, specifically, I'm assuming those who've gone through traumas and things like that, to start with is to have somebody with them just in case, right? Yeah. That's great. Jazakallah khair. I'm just going to quickly remind our dear listeners, just in case anybody joins a bit later, is that we have Jamila Taylor with us on the show today, who's a mindset, energetics, and expansion mentor, helping women live financially abundant lives with joy and freedom. She has mentored hundreds of clients in voice activation, creating content in 5 minutes or less, energetics of money, and feminine energy to magnetize your desires to you. Just a reminder, dear listeners, this is a pre-recorded show, so we won't be able to take any questions today. But please feel free to text, WhatsApp your thoughts about the show at 0779 481822, or you can comment on Facebook as well. In fact, as I was just reading this bio, Jamila, where it said here, helping hundreds of clients on voice activation, I was wondering if you can tell us more about that voice activation, creating content in 5 minutes or less. How does that work? I'm assuming creating content, is that more for their businesses?
Yeah, more for business owners. But voice activation is actually for any woman.
Mm.
So especially women of color, and especially women that have had generations or conditioning around not being heard,
Mm.
around being careful with what you say around people.
Mm.
There's a part of your voice and the energy in your throat that actually gets constricted and
Yeah.
actually gets tightened up. And the symptoms that you have there, so some of the common things that I've noticed in my clients and people have said to me is there's an anxiety that you can hear in your voice.
Mm.
So your voice might be a little bit crackly. It might
Mm.
not sound strong and empowered.
Mm.
You realize that when you speak, other people aren't really listening to you.
Mm.
You find it really hard to even have strong boundaries around people.
Yeah.
You find it hard to even articulate your truth. You find it hard to articulate your ideas. And for business owners, they find it difficult to articulate their messaging and their branding and what they really want to do in their business.
Mm.
And all of that is energetics. That when you actually clear up the energy that's kind of being built up there, that's clogging the natural energy flow in your throat area, and for it to be spacious and open and safe for you to speak up, for you to use your voice, for you to activate yourself and activate others, that is what voice activation is all about. And I noticed this in myself, first of all, that when I'd listened to myself speak many years ago, I'd speak really fast. I kind of
Mm.
hear this like kind of nasally or anxiety in my voice.
Mm.
And now I've got a YouTube channel, I've got a massive Instagram audience,
Mm.
and people love my voice. Like people love me talking about different things, and I feel more powerful in what I say as well. So when
Mm.
you actually do this work, it's so hard for me to sometimes pull back and actually say just how powerful this is, because that's my voice activation program is one of my programs that I've had the best testimonials, where women have ended up getting job promotions, where
Wow.
their relationship with their partners, with their children have gone better, because the way that they are articulating themselves, the way that they can speak up about their desires, about their needs, their wants, is so much more powerful. um, I've had a woman that actually had a stutter for so long, and
Mm.
it completely disappeared. And she then went on to university, and she was a grown up woman. She had loads of kids, and she's like, I really want to study.
Mm.
So she went and enrolled herself on a course, and she told me that her lecturer says that you're actually one of the most confident women in the room.
Wow.
From being the person that she felt like I am the least confident. Like
Yeah.
she didn't even switch on the video on a Zoom. That's how scared she felt, or how kind of
Mm.
shy she was. To her then enrolling on a massive course, being in front of strangers and giving talks in her university programs and classes. That's to me, that's just like incredible.
That is amazing. I love that. And you said that you've got a course on voice activation. Can you tell us more about that? Because I'm interested. Like just listening to you, I'm imagining so many people would be interested to know more about that.
Yeah, definitely. So I pride myself on being really short, really specific, and to the point. So the program is actually called 14-day voice activation. And every
Mhm.
day for 14 days, you get an audio. And
Mm.
this is either a training from me, something for you to reflect on, think about, or it's an actual to-do implementation task.
Mm.
And you don't have to do it all in 14 days. In fact, I advise people to stay on the day where you feel the most resistance in, and really feel like you kind of master that day before you move on to the next day. And
Repeat that again. Repeat that part again.
so I actually advise anyone that joins that program to actually stay on the days that you feel the biggest resistance in,
Hmm.
because that is the day that your energetic body or your voice needs the most support in.
Right.
And somebody could literally take this program in 14 days, but I I recommend like actually taking your time through the days that you feel the biggest resistance in, and notice what happens afterwards.
So you're saying the days, sorry, I stopped you there, but I just want to clarify that. So the days that you've have the most resistance, do you mean to take your time or do you push yourself? I didn't get that part.
Yeah, take your time. So let's say for
Okay.
example, in the program, day 3 is I'm giving you an actionable go and do this kind of task.
Uh-huh.
And as you hear me say it, you're like, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. Rather than just kind of half doing it, half not doing it,
Gotcha.
and then going on to day 4, I'm like, let's just stay on that day until you really feel like you've solidly mastered it, and then move on to the next day. And those are the people that get the best results with voice activation.
So when you say
The
stay
other
on it, as in like if they can't do it that day, do they try it again the following day before they move into day 4?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
The other thing is that I don't think many women just generally realize how powerful their voices are. And you being able to use your voice is the conduit to declare your desires to Allah. It's the way that you make dua. It's the way that you engage with your partner. It's the way that you engage with your audience, with other businesses, how you collaborate. And you being able to really master master this instrument that Allah has given us is so powerful.
Absolutely, 100% agree on that. So even Islamically as well, this is something very important. So this is interesting. So it's a 14-day course, and that's something that they can just purchase from your website, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. And then what you're saying is that anybody, if anybody ends up purchasing that, is that if they feel in resistance on a day, to kind of keep on, like, leave it, do it the next day, keep on it until they mastered it, and then they move into the next day rather than do it kind of partially. Okay, interesting. That's great. And so that was voice activation, that was creating content. And then we talked about the energetics of money. What time is it? Let me just keep. I'm just so interested in this that I've lost track of the time. Okay, this time. Okay. So we've got a few minutes. Sorry, I got a bit confused there. Maybe we can talk actually a little bit more about, before we go into the break, energetics of money. What's that like?
Okay, so the energetics of money. I'm trying to like really backtrack my way so I can give the most basic explanation for listeners first. Money is a vibrational currency. It means that it's very much a frequency thing. It's something that how you relate to it is how it relates to you. Meaning, if you are a person who's seeing money as this thing that's never there for you, that abandons you all the time, that just comes and goes, that never grows, that's how money will start relating with you. So
Interesting.
money will relate with you how you see money, how you
Wow.
feel about it, how you engage with money. So if you're a person who's relating to money as in like you never want to look at your bank account, you never want to look at your money, you're always assuming that money is never there for you, that you're not really provided for, that is what your money is going to start showing you. That's the energetics that you are going to mirror back. That's what you're going to start seeing back in your reality. So really refining and reworking your energetics around money is you coming into deeper expansion with money, deeper surrender with money, knowing that money is always there for you, that money is always supporting you, that no matter how much money you spend, money always gets to come back to you, that money enjoys coming back to you. That is another thing that some people believe that as soon as I invest or as soon as I spend money, that's it, it's gone forever. But we all know that's not how Allah works. That's not how Allah's laws on this planet work. Allah gives you what you give back. That when you invest, when you spend money, Allah is always giving you something back. There's always avenues and portals for the circulation of money to come back to you. And if it isn't money in its paper form or its currency form or its digital form, it could be barakah in multiple ways. Like, in your barakah, in your relationship, in your health, in your children's health, in your parents, so many, in your business, so many other ways. So this is what I mean about the energetics of money.
Wow, interesting. And when you were saying this, it just made me think about, subhanallah, the charity, like, how Allah says that, when we give charity, we get, even better back. SubhanAllah, I've heard stories where, in fact, I just heard it yesterday, where somebody was in real need of a certain amount that she had, and then her friend called her. She was in hospital. She was desperate need of a certain amount, and she said, "Okay, you know what? She's in need of it more than me." So she gave it to her. She said that night she got triple that amount back. I don't know how, but subhanAllah, it's like same day he just came back to us, subhanallah. So this is very powerful when you talk about the energetics of money and how it can relate it to Islam in terms of when we give charity, it's not money that is lost, it just comes back. Even with barakah, it's double, tripled, wherever it is, but you get something better back, subhanallah. So it's that energetics of money. It just feels like something so much related to Islam as well. So it's amazing stuff, mashallah. Just realized we're nearly close to the break, so I'm just going to just remind the listeners that we have Jamila Taylor with us on the show today, who's a mindset, energetics, and expansion mentor, helping women live financially abundant lives with joy and freedom. She has mentored hundreds of clients on voice activation, creating content in 5 minutes or less, energetics of money, and feminine energy to magnetize your desires to you. Dear listeners, we are going to go for a short break. So this is Aspire FM Luton on 105.1. Please do stay tuned. MashaAllah, amazing stuff that Jamila is sharing, which I'm really looking forward to hearing more after the break. So we'll see you shortly, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to the Rise to Success show. We have Jamila Taylor with us today, who is a mindset, energetics, and expansion mentor, helping women live financially abundant lives with delicious joy and freedom. She has mentored hundreds of clients on voice activation, creating content 5 minutes or less, energetics of money, and feminine energy to magnetize your desires to you. Jamila is sharing with us today how she started her business from suffering with social anxiety to now having a successful, thriving business, how she creates ease in her business, infuse energetics, and being seen specifically as a niqabi as well. Dear listeners, this is a pre-recorded show, so we're not going to be taking any questions today, but please feel free to text or WhatsApp your thoughts about the show on 07779481822. Alternatively, you can comment on Facebook as well. So, Jamila, before the break, we are discussing the amazing work that you do, mashallah, which I find it really, really interesting, and I've learnt a lot about it. And I'm hoping the dear listeners, inshallah, have found it beneficial as well. So now if we could talk a little bit more about as well, although you've been talking about it, but maybe if you want to share a little bit more about how you help women through your business. We talked about, the energetics of money. We talked about voice activation, which that part of it is, I find really, really interesting, and other things that you've shared. Is there anything else that you do part of your business to help women? And is it only just for women? For example, the voice activation program that you have, is it just tailored for women, or can anybody sign up for it?
Mostly my offers are actually just for women. And yeah, a lot of the work I've also done in my business is helping other entrepreneurs create a business that gives them the time freedom that they're desperately craving and getting them out of that hustle mindset. I don't believe in the concept that you do more and that's what creates more. I believe that you do less, but that less is aligned, intuitive, guided action, and that's what creates more. And when you are able to find that sweet spot, when you're able to find exactly what is my aligned, intuitive, guided action steps that are going to magnify my magnetism, that they're going to magnify my reach, and they're going to magnify, combined with energetics, the exact right ideal clients that are for me.
Yeah.
That when you're able to have a really successful business and not need to sacrifice the rest of your life. So not need to sacrifice your relationships, your motherhood, your hobbies, your interests, family commitments, other things, your deen even. And that is what I've helped so many women do.
Sure, that's amazing. And as you were talking, I remembered, what's her name? Khalila Lister, right? The Power of Voice Academy. I'm wondering, do you guys kind of like work together or something? Because it seems like there's some sort of similarities there.
Yeah, we have done a collab live together. We have done it. It's, I think, on both of our Instagram accounts.
Great, mashallah, that's amazing, mashallah. Okay, and you mentioned that you're moving into one-to-one to 2024. So at the moment, there are programs that you're doing as well as one-to-ones. Is it the two options, or is it depending on the area that you are covering, or how does it work?
Yeah, so I have programs that range on like a variety of price points. Going into 2024, there's going to only be working with me one-on-one, and in my one-on-one capacity is going to be my 3-month Rose Ports mentorship. So this is going to be deep, close proximity work with me and my clients together. There are other programs where there's group calls, so there's ability for you to get support from the group calls. There's programs where there's also a group chat where I'm dropping in daily, where you get to ask questions daily, get support from me daily. And one of the biggest ways to get supported, and the best way to work with me probably, is the Empowered Woman program, unless you are really, really desiring deeper, high level one-on-one support.
Interesting. But there are some programs out there as well, right? And or
Yeah.
that's going to be kind of removed by 2024.
No, there's definitely loads of programs out there. I've got a program just about money, which is the Money Bundle, which is all about understanding your relationship with money, understanding and realigning your patterns with money, your unconscious patterns with money. 14-day voice activation we talked about. 5-minute content machine, which is all about creating content in 5 minutes or less, but the content is actually magnetic. Like, it's actually delicious content that you enjoy creating, and your ideal audience love to consume from you. Like, they are waiting for your next post. They're salivating over your stories. Like, that is how good you want your content to be. And there's a lot of audios in there also around overcoming the perfectionism mindset around content, clearing any part of you that's resistant to creating content and not making it such a big deal. And that is one of the biggest highlights and testimonials I've got from that program, is that those clearing audios are the things that really, really supported women in starting to create content, starting to enjoy it, starting to create it regularly, and creating it in a way that really personifies their brand signature, their brand identity powerfully, where if somebody saw your content, they could know, oh, that's something that Jihad's done. That's definitely her work, because it's just so embodied in who you are and your brand that it kind of screams you out. Like, you stand out from everyone that's doing the same thing.
Wow. Love it. Go ahead. Yeah.
We have container expansion, which is, it's actually one of my higher level programs, and it's all about you energetically expanding yourself to be able to receive more. So I'm sure everyone's heard of the term glass ceiling or upper limit, where you can only allow yourself to receive a certain amount of money or a certain amount of success. And anytime you try to do any bit more than that, you sabotage yourself and you come back down. Like, you never quite crack past that glass ceiling. You never quite smash through the glass ceiling. You never quite go above and beyond the amount of money that you were always making every single month, or the amount of clients that you attract every single month, or whatever it is that your desire is that you really want to expand past. So container expansion is my program in really supporting you smash through your glass ceilings, in you elevating yourself energetically through different practices, tools, modalities, to go beyond your glass ceiling, to actually perceive yourself first in having beyond, and then actually seeing it for yourself. It's one of my favorite programs, and there's going to be live Q&A calls for that happening in 2024. I also have a few paid masterclasses. There's a paid masterclass around energetics of pricing, around developing a resilient mindset, where like nothing can throw you off balance. Absolutely nothing in business, in life. Nothing can throw you off balance. Like, there could be a storm happening around you, and you are that still present tree.
Wow.
Phoenix Rising, that's an amazing one for anyone that wants to shed and let go of anything that happened in 2023 and want to reclaim their newer selves, their newer identity in 2024. And I think there's also Essence of Ease, which is all around the energetics around ease and bringing ease in multiple areas of your life. Not just how to make things easy, but how do you align yourself with the energetics of ease, that things just become easy for you.
Oh, I love that, mashallah. I feel like a lot of it's like I just want to do all of them. Mashallah, that's great stuff, mashallah. I love it.
You said that I actually do have an offer where you get access to everything for the course of 1 year. So you get access to every program, and you get access to every single live program that's going to be happening in 2024. So that includes the Empowered Woman. So if any of your listeners are listening in, or if you're interested, then feel free to reach out.
That's interesting, mashallah. And I'm just assuming, honestly saying it feels like it depends, I think, on where people are in their life, what stage they are in, right? Because there is, or it feels like it's either, to start from, having the right energy, the right content, and then giving and expanding. So it feels like you've got a really nice flow there, and it's just about people choosing where they think they are in life, or they think that they are, need to start from step one, and it seems like you've got the whole of the things that to take them to a certain level, to reach basically their full potential. It's not just getting halfway through, but you're actually taking it to the next level as well, which is something I really, really love, because a lot of people as well, when they do something, they're like, well, I want to know what's next. That's not enough for me. I want more. And it seems like, mashallah, you are accommodating for all those needs. So that's amazing, mashallah. I love it. Jazakallah khair for that. And we talked about, because I had a question about the energetics of money, so I'm a bit of ahead of that. I've already talked about this. You mentioned also feminine energy to magnetize their desires to them. What does that mean? How does it work?
Yeah. So we all have both masculine and feminine energy inside of us.
Yeah.
Even if you're a woman, even if you're a man, we both have essences of that energy inside of us.
Yeah.
And as women, all of us Allah has created us as a natural feminine energy beings.
Yeah.
Which means that for most of the time, we want to be in our feminine energy. Like we want to live life with our feminine energy. There's times where we might be in our masculine. So you might be in your masculine when you're like setting goals, when you need to get things done, when you want to get the cleaning done, when you want to organize trips with your kids, when you want to kind of really get into the goal linear focus mode of getting things done. The feminine energy part is all about leaning back, surrendering, enjoying, self-care, pleasure, trusting. And that's the part that for some women in a very hyper masculinized world that they've really let go of. And even through conditioning in society where everyone's kind of taught the schooling 9-to-5 culture, work hard, the more you work, the more you get kind of way of thinking. A lot of women have let go of that natural feminine essence inside of themselves. And that's the part that Allah has created us as our most magnetic selves. So that when you are actually deeply embodied in your feminine, and let me just put a disclaimer out there that just having bubble baths and nice drinks does not mean that you're in your feminine. This is very much an embodiment practice that you need to have deep inside of you. Like a woman can be having bubble baths, wearing gorgeous lipstick and wearing nice clothes, but her energy could be screaming masculine energy.
Yeah.
So it's not about the things that you do, it's more about what happens internally inside of you as well.
Yeah.
And when you're able to do that, when you're able to be in your feminine energy, lean back, go into deeper surrender, deeper trust, and be in that magnetic state where, for example, in your business, that one post that you do that is super magnetic, that is super alluring, could be the thing that brings in the most amount of clients. When you're in that feminine receiving state, and the receiving is another element of feminine energy, being able to receive, not needing to quickly shove back compliments that people give you and say, oh, this dress, I bought it from this, rather than just allowing yourself to receive a compliment.
Yeah.
Receiving also tied to receiving money, like your ability to receive money rather than sabotage it, push it away, not see the opportunities that Allah is already placing in your lap to receive money. And when you're really able to go into that feminine state, I feel like my clients have the most delicious success.
Wow. And I'm wondering what happens, because that happens quite a lot. What happens when we let go of our feminine energy?
We just become big, hairy women. So when somebody has let go of their feminine energy, you're basically activating a lot of masculine energy in your body, and in your relationship, you're just going to be like alpha hitting each other. There's not going to be any magnetism, there's not going to be any polarity happening, any attraction happening, because you're just going to be like two men.
Yeah.
Even though you're wearing the nice frilly dress and the gorgeous hair and makeup, your energy is screaming out masculine. So that's what happens. There's it in your business, and it can be very healthy for you to use in your business at some times.
Mm.
But if you're 100% in your masculine in your business, there's no juiciness. Like
Yeah.
I can tell when I look at women's websites, when I look at their Instagram profiles, when I look at just the way that they're running their business. Is there any excitement? Is there any playfulness? Is there any
Mm.
juiciness in the way that your business is?
Mm.
And for some women, they they have and then for me also, there's people that have had wounded feminine
Yeah.
and kind of experiences inside themselves. It's very hard to tap into that playful nature. It's very
Mm.
hard to go into that receiving state, to be in surrender, because you've had so many experiences that showed you don't be like that.
Mm.
And in
Mm.
fact, one of the reasons why so many women are in their masculine is because they developed that armor in their childhood that protected them.
Yeah.
I have to be independent. No one's looking out for me. So I have to look out for myself. I need
Yeah.
to do things by myself because no one's going to do it for me.
Yeah.
I need to be there for me. If I'm not going to be there for me, no one else will.
Yeah.
And women have developed that for so long
Mm.
that it's really hard for them to kind of surrender and take off that armor.
Yeah.
And along with the wounded feminine conditioning, where maybe they were told that you can't play, you're
Mm.
too old to play on bikes now.
Yeah.
You can't do this. This isn't for women to do. You need to do this and you need to do that now. So she learned that to neglect her playful side. She learned to neglect her side that enjoys, just literally is enjoying the present moment. That
Yeah.
can in to the femininity around her as well. It can also be tied to the sisterhood wound, where maybe she's had a lot of experiences in business or in her childhood or with family members where women were pitting against women, or where there wasn't really deep sisterhood connection.
Mm.
So there could be many, many reasons or things that can happen when women are hyper into their masculine.
Yeah.
But what a lot of women realize is that actually when they let that go
Mm.
and they slowly are able to take off that armor,
Mm.
that life really does get to be so much easier for them. That it
Yeah.
does get to be so much more joyful for them.
Love it. Love it. It's amazing, subhanAllah. And I'm just thinking that if we don't do that, then not only it affects, us externally, but also internally in our mental health as well. So this is really powerful. Jazakallah khair for sharing that. Um, being a niqabi, mashallah, being Muslim woman and a niqabi as well, how do you feel as a niqabi in the business world, and how do people perceive you as well?
Mm. So when I first went into the realm of coaching business owners, I had so many limiting beliefs around who's going to take me seriously because I wear a
Mm.
niqab. Am I going to be taken in the same level as other white business coaches or as other white energetics coaches and or mindset coaches? And
Mm.
alhamdulillah, I did the work to let go of those limiting beliefs. And believe it or not, my first client was a Latina woman. She wasn't Muslim. And she said, I worked with you because if you can show up wearing the niqab, like if you can show up looking like this,
Mm.
then I
Mm.
have no excuse.
Wow.
And that was so powerful for me when she said that,
Mm.
because it was basically showing me that my niqab is my asset in my business.
Wow.
That it actually shows not just Muslim women that you can crush it and you can have it all and you can have the juicy, amazing life and success you desire, but it's also showing other women that might not relate to niqabis or that might not be Muslim, that there are other women that are having the courage to show up like this.
Mm.
Then I can go for my dreams too. Then I can do the things that I desire to.
Wow. It's kind of part of the work that you do.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
alhamdulillah.
amazing. Love it, mashallah. That's great. And just coming back to a little bit more about the business that you're doing, where you said that you create ease in your business and infuse energetics. How do you do that?
Okay, so the energetics is a lot of the things that we talked about around the voice, around money.
Mm.
There's also energetics around sales
Mm.
and creating clients.
Mm.
Like if you are running the energy in your body of, or the mindset even in your body of, I have to do more to create clients,
Mm.
that is very different to the energy of, I'm going to take specific aligned actions and that's going to be the portal for me to create clients.
Mm.
And it's almost like saying one one powerful action from deep alignment and deep power and trust and surrender is more powerful than taking 1,000 to
Yeah.
do actions.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of the listeners that have a business have probably already experienced that they've
Yeah.
taken 1,000 actions just to get a little bit of success.
Mm.
And there's a part of them, and Allah's created that in all of us, that there's a part of our being that knows
Yeah.
it's not meant to be this difficult.
Yeah.
There's a part of our being that knows it's meant to be more easy. How can Allah not have created more ease? Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense that Allah creates the beauty and the magnificence that we see in this world
Mm.
and not have ease. Like,
Mm.
it's there, it's available for everyone, but you need to be able to tap into it.
And I think it's not just for business, Jamila. I think it's for daily tasks as well. Sometimes I feel like, we make it so complicated that we make it harder for ourselves and we don't get the results that we want. Even sometimes looking after our children, certain restrictions, and I'm not criticizing anyone at all, but I'm referring to certain things that I have seen. And it doesn't help the children, it makes it sometimes worse. Sometimes it's not about the amount that you do, it's more about less, but with quality and enjoyment as well, right?
Mm. Yeah, 100%. I do talk about that a lot in the Essence of Ease masterclass, where you can use it in multiple areas of your life.
Mm. Mm.
Um, like, for example, like after this podcast recording radio show that we're doing, I need to do some packing that I've been putting off for a trip I need to take on the weekend.
Mm.
And I'm already knowing, okay, I'm going to infuse ease into this. How am I going to infuse ease into this? How am I going to enjoy this? How am I going to make this thing that feels like a chore not feel like a chore, but it's something that I
Mm.
can look forward to, that I can get excited by as well? And
Mm.
this is also me tapping into my feminine energy while I'm doing a task that might look for other people like a masculine thing to do.
Mm. Interesting. And I think from the little kind of conversations that we've had or little communication that we've had, you seem to be more of a spontaneous person than kind of a person who likes to proper pre-plan and into routines and so on.
I do feel like I'm a bit of both, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
We'll always have
do
a bit of, yeah.
I do know that when I had a lot of anxiety in the past, and when I was in my wounded masculine in the past, I definitely wanted structure and I definitely wanted everything to be planned perfectly, and that left no room for fun. Like, it left no room for
Yeah.
enjoyment. It left no room for surprises from what Allah can give, because I'm like blocking out the surprises by planning everything.
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, I feel like now I'm in a season of both.
Mm. That's interesting because although that we have a bit of both, Allah has created each one was with one of them more dominant than the other. And for you, if you found structure quite restricting, then you're definitely more of a kind of person who likes surprises, more spontaneous, and so on. So the fact that you try to be someone you're not, right, that's what ends up leading to anxiety. And there's something kind of I cover in my work that for us not to try to be someone that we're not, because Allah has created us in a certain way,
Mhm.
and for us to enjoy that. So when you said, for example, about the trip and the weekend, so those kind of individuals, they like that last minute pressure, last minute thrill in order for them to get work done. Otherwise they can't get work done without under pressure. I've got friends who just say that, well, without the pressure I can't get work done no matter how much I try. Whereas with me, I'm the total opposite. Under pressure, I can't function. So, subhanallah, Allah has gifted each one of us with a certain gift that if we utilize it the right way, in the right places, it will do us good. If we don't, then we try to be someone else. And a lot of people do it unintentionally, right? That they think, oh, this is a good trait, let me try to be like that. But it does more harm than good. So it's about embracing who you are, and as you said, enjoying it as well, because that reflects on our mental health too. So, inshallah, that's great stuff that you've been sharing. I'm cautious of time because I've been really enjoying this, and I'm looking at the time. It's like, let me quickly get to the last question quickly. So, what would you advise Muslim women and niqabis if they want to show up as proud Muslim women but hesitant to do so? Because I know a lot of people, they feel that the niqab is restricting them, not in a bad way, but they think that they do want to cover, but they feel like they can't do so much because they're covering,
Mm.
and it's kind of a restriction in that sense. What would you advise them?
I would say that whatever you believe about yourself and whatever you believe about the niqab is what you're going to start attracting into your reality.
Yeah.
So if you start believing and like wearing it from a place of nervousness and anxiousness and I won't know what's going to happen, your energy is emitting that, and that's what you're going to start receiving back. But
Mm.
if you're choosing to adopt it from a place of like safety and trust and part of your connection with Allah,
Yeah.
that's what you're going to start receiving back. You're going to start receiving the deeper connection. You're
Yeah.
going to start feeling safer. You're going to start feeling more respected. You're going to start feeling exactly what you're desiring to get from it.
Mm.
The other thing I want to say is like, honestly, when I come across on Instagram like women that are doing amazing things and they're wearing the niqab, like women that are traveling, women that are creating all these massive businesses, supporting other women,
Mm.
and what it really does for me is I like seeing that. I enjoy seeing that. It makes me feel like, wow, there's so much more for me to achieve. There's so much more for me to do. And for anyone listening, you never know that you might be that for someone else. Like you
Yeah.
don't know that there's going to be someone that's going to look up to you. Doesn't mean that you have to have a business, but in your own personal life, that they will look up to you and they're going to be like, wow, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can still be ourselves and do what we want, even though that we were in niqab. And that's actually a form of, as you said, it's like, form of dawah as well, in a way.
Mm.
So yeah, Jazakallah khair. That has been really, really amazing and really interesting. I've learned a lot myself, and I'm hoping inshallah our dear listeners have as well. So it is actually the end of the show. It has gone very fast. But Jazakallah khair for being here with us today. It has been really, really interesting, and I'm gonna definitely check your programs for my own personal use as well, inshallah. So thank you so much. Thank you, dear listeners, for being with us today. I hope inshallah that you have enjoyed and benefited from this episode as much as I did. Do please stay tuned for future episodes, which take place on Mondays, 6 to 7 p.m. Our next guest for next week is Sabria Karim, who is an associate editor working at Nature Cell Biology, which is a scientific journal that publishes high quality research across all disciplines of cell biology. So please do stay with us to learn more about her work and her story as well. Also, if you are or if you know somebody who would like to share your story in our radio show, please do get in touch with us on 07779 481822. We'd love to hear from you. So, Jamila, thank you so much again. Jazakallah khair for being with us and for sharing all this amazing stuff that you've shared today. May Allah grant you, inshallah, a lot of success in all the work that you do to help the Muslim Ummah, inshallah. Jazakallah khair again, listeners, and inshallah, see you next week. Assalamu alaikum.